Hi, my name is Jana. Welcome to my channel. On this video I'm going to be talking about frugal living and how to buy less stuff. I started thinking about this topic recently when I realized that my hiking boots are 13 years old and I'm still using them. Some of my clothes have holes in them, the kind of clothes that I use when I'm working in the garden, for example. And I realized that I don't really buy that much stuff, and it hasn't been a conscious choice. It's more like I was brought up this way. In my family where I grew up, we didn't just buy things. But I think that our society is based on consumerism. We are expected to buy more and more to keep the wheels of economy rolling. And at the same time, we are made responsible for the state of our planet, for climate change. And it's clear, at least for me, that this lifestyle isn't sustainable. We should simply start buying less and start buying more consciously. And there's also the aspect of slow living in this topic, because if you buy and buy and buy, you also need to work and work and work. You need to work all the time to be able to afford that lifestyle. And for me, work is valuable. I love my work, but I just want to make it sustainably so that I won't get burnt out and I will actually be able to have a balanced life where I can enjoy my free time too. We are constantly shown ads where the basic idea seems to be that we are inadequate if we don't buy a certain product, but if we buy that, we will be more valuable, more beautiful, more capable. It's almost like we are running in this race where we just want to show each other that we are more successful than others, and we're competing against people that we don't even know or we don't even like, or deep down we don't even want to belong to the same group with them. So my first tip for buying less would be to ask yourself what feeling is there behind your urge to purchase something. If you're in an online shop and you're browsing the items and you want to click them into your shopping cart, what are you feeling when you're doing that? Is it that you are just bored, or do you just want to reward yourself for something? Or do you actually feel like you would be more beautiful if you buy those clothes, for example? But that reward that comes with buying something, it's not very long lasting. You might feel good for a day or two after buying that new jacket or new trousers, but soon you will start to want to buy some other stuff again. So I would just try to be very conscious of those feelings and try to think other ways to deal with those feelings than buying. If you need something that you would only use like once a year, maybe you could borrow it from somebody. For example, I have some household gadgets or items that I borrow from my mom, and it's working pretty well because we live in the same town, so obviously it doesn't work for everybody, but I just think it would be a waste of money, a waste of space, if I would buy all the same things that somebody else already has and is willing to lend me. And of course, if somebody else wants to borrow my things, I'm happy to lend them to them. sometimes it's just wise to settle with what you already have. For example, I have these coffee mugs. They are these Finnish Moomin mugs that almost every Finnish household has, and I used to love them when I got them, but now I'm kind of bored with them. I would like to buy new mugs, and maybe I eventually will, but at this point I'm feeling like I have these perfectly good mugs, and just because I'm bored doesn't mean that I need to buy new stuff. I think it's wise to realize that we don't always need to have the things that are trendy or things that we find beautiful. Of course, I do value that things around me are beautiful. I think the aesthetic aspect of life is very important, but there's a limit to it. Of course, if your hobby is collecting some, I don't know, tableware, for example, then there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that, but maybe just put some limits to that hobby as well, so that you don't end up living in a house full of stuff that you don't really need. And in any case, it's gonna be an endless race if you're constantly trying to upgrade your belongings. Like, you always get bored with what you have, and then you need to buy something new again. One of the best tricks for buying less stuff is just postponing your purchases. For example, I feel like I need to buy a certain item, and then I just decide to wait for a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, because I know that that need might change, or I might even forget about it. I might realize that I don't even need it as much as I thought that I would. And what is even a need versus a want? Sometimes it's a fine line between those two. For example, a couple of years ago I bought this tent. I had decided to start going on overnight hikes, but I never did that. I haven't slept in that tent once. Maybe I still will. I'm still interested in starting that new hobby, but I haven't done it yet, so who knows, maybe I should have just not bought it. But when I buy stuff, I want to buy good quality. For example, I have this winter parka that I have had for 10 years and it's still in good condition. When I buy new photography equipment, I make sure that it's good quality, because I've made the mistake previously of buying some cheap copies that don't work the way that they should work, and then I just end up buying another one. I choose to buy less, but when I buy something, it can be more expensive because it has to be good quality. But I'm not saying that I'm one of those super frugal people who don't buy almost anything. I go a lot to flea markets. I love to buy beautiful things there. But I try to be mindful about it so that I don't buy stuff that I don't need. I always think if there's space for those finds in my house. But I do think that buying secondhand is always a better option. And sometimes I make mistakes. I buy things without considering them carefully. So, like, I'm trying to say that I'm not perfect and I make mistakes, and sometimes I forget about these principles that I have. But I do try to live frugally and sustainably, because I think it's really important for this planet and for my personal economy, so that I won't be spending too much money on things that I don't need. But I would love to hear what you think about this. Do you think that frugal living is something important? Do you try to live frugally yourself? And if you buy things, what kind of things do you buy? Thank you for watching this video. I really enjoyed talking with you. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Remember to take care of yourself. See you in the next video. Bye bye.